the beginning, you made a comment that you didn't think China was going to, I'm not sure the word you use, eat our lunch here in the United States. And I tend to agree with you, but I am curious to know what you think China's position will be in relation to the United States in the coming generation or two.
First, about the Chinese-U.S. competitive dynamic, and then about the relationship a generation from now. I bow to no one in my concern about American political problems and fears of decline and things like that. But I think I would make 2 points about them. One is almost everything that's wrong with America would be just as wrong if China didn't exist. In my view, China is in no significant degree responsible for anything that's either good or particularly bad about the United States. Second, what struck me after living in China, and I've spent a fair amount of my time outside the U.S. now, is that the United States is probably in economically better shape than it thinks and politically worse shape than it thinks. Economically better in that while polarization is our great problem, the raw power of the U.S. economy is still quite impressive. And I think I would use California as an example for this. Northern California has all of its tech strength. Southern California has all of its soft power and other strengths too. The government in California is in terrible shape, but the economy still is able to attract talented people from around the world. I think something similar is true for the U.S. economy. So I think and politically, I think the U.S. is in worse shape than it thinks in this way. We like to complain about our political system and yet still think it's the best. I'm not sure it's the best. I think that the U.S. Senate has become an objective harm to the national well-being. It would never be designed this way if people were starting with current situations. And so just as California has shown that a government can really become dangerously dysfunctional, so too in the U.S. On the relationship between China and the U.S., it has been, number one, striking that the most constant part of U.S. policy, foreign policy in the last 30 plus years has been towards China, where it's been simultaneously, number one, we'd rather work with them than against them in a new Cold War. Number two, we think their rise is on balance good rather than bad. But number three, we really disagree with them on a lot of things and will disagree in the long run. So I think that it's to the credit of politicians on both sides that what could have been a very dangerous relationship has been more or less kept stable. I think it is plausible that we'll have between the two countries sort of a continued relationship. The other part of that is that China, both Chinese people and Chinese leaders are much more concerned about their own problems than any of ours. I don't think there are many Chinese officials who spend 1 minute a day thinking, how can we overtake the United States? It's more, how can we deal with this protest in Qinghai, and how can we get rid of the water table damage and things like that? What can I do with real estate? So I think that there is not the head-to-head relationship that many people would fear, and I think it's conceivable that this could go on and it's a forum for a while.